Hello and welcome back to Flint Hills Briar. I'm Gareth. Well, it's late November. I'm down here along the Elk River Trail in southeast Kansas on my annual, or oftentimes annual, November little backpacking trip. In my campsite for the night, this is night number 2. I'm enjoying some Prince Albert in my Brigham. I don't know, what is this, 025S, something like that. Nice little maple leaf on there. Yeah. But yeah, this trail, it's near the Elk City Reservoir, and it follows the reservoir and also the Elk River. And it's a 15-mile trail one way. I come out and for the last several times I've been out here, I start at the western trailhead that's by Elk City, which is a tiny little town, and then I hike it to eastbound, and then I usually camp a few miles before the for the other trailhead. And in the morning I hike to that trailhead about 2 miles and then double back as my bench falls apart here. Come back and then I camp with about 5 miles to go. So in the morning I'll hike the rest of the way out. The weather's been actually overall fairly on the warmer side. You know, a touch above average, I guess, for November, put it that way. And last night wasn't really all that cold. It got down like the upper 50s, I think. Yesterday was rainy. Last night was rainy. I knew, looking at the weather forecast, that the rain was going to be a factor this time around. And I like take a couple days off of work to do this. I drive out on a Wednesday, get off work, drive out Wednesday night, and then I head out Thursday morning, and I wind up driving back home on Saturday. So I'd already arranged to do this, and the weather forecast, rain-wise, interfered, but you can't control that. Not that I might necessarily mind rain that much, but at the same time, it's kind of to the point where if I have a real choice in the matter, I'd really rather go camping when it's dry. But yeah, sure enough, yesterday, it was certain parts of the day, later in the day, it had like 100% chance of rain, so I knew it was going to rain, and I only had hike about a mile, maybe a little over a mile of yesterday's hike in the rain, so at least it held off till then. I got to my campsite and set up my tent, and I brought what I call a dining fly, but it's a tarp that I can set up. I don't know if dining fly is a Boy Scout term or what, but anyway, got my tent set up, got my dining fly set up, so I'd have a place that I could sit underneath where it wasn't raining on me, that wasn't my tent. And I only brought the tarp because I knew it was going to rain. Otherwise, I would have left it at home. But I knew it would probably come in handy, and it did. So spent a lot of time yesterday, late afternoon and in the evening, sitting under the tarp, smoking a pipe, or a cigar. I brought a couple, or about 3 cigars. Some of those Sweet Janes, the Deadwood cigars, which I'm sure, you know, a lot of cigar purists probably look down on, but whatever, I don't care. I like fancier cigars, and I like those too. One thing I don't know if I ever noticed before, like enjoying that Sweet Jane cigar yesterday afternoon, I was catching kind of like a chocolate sort of thing going on with that cigar, and also kind of a vanilla sort of essence to it. Character, whatever. I don't know if I'd ever noticed that before. Smoking it in the rain underneath the tarp. Then I had a pipe, Prince Albert, and a pipe of Sir Walter Raleigh. Just kind of stuck with some of the simple basics. But yeah, I didn't record a video. Usually I like record a video of my first campsite and my second night campsite. Last few times I've done this, but I didn't feel like recording last night because once I got into camp, got everything set up, and you know, had that first cigar, there wasn't a whole lot left of the light, and I also didn't really have a very good setup to record. Like this, I'm sitting on an old bench that somebody's made, and the camera sitting on my phone that's in the little mini tripod thing is sitting on the edge of a big tall fire ring. It's kind of perfect for this. But yeah, got my tent set up, got my tarp set up. I don't think chances of rain tonight are very low, so I do not think it's going to rain, but I set my tarp up in order for it to dry out, because the thing was soaking wet and therefore heavier to carry, and it won't be such a wet mess when I get it home when I take it out to dry it out in the garage. So I was drying some stuff out, and I used to always see, or at least hear, rummaging around armadillos down here, and last year when I came out here, I never saw or heard any. They make a lot of noise when they're rummaging around in the leaves, like looking for bugs to eat or whatever. Never saw or heard any last year, and this year so far, I mean, still have 5 miles to hike out, but I haven't seen or heard any this year either. Seen a lot of white-tailed deer, which is very typical. Saw a bunch of pelicans down the reservoir yesterday. Big old group, I don't know, like could have easily been like 30 of them or something. White pelicans. But yeah, the Unbound gravel race, that thing I did, the 100-mile version of back in whatever it was, it's like the weekend that follows Memorial Day. Big bike race in Emporia, Kansas. I threw my name in the lottery for the 200 after spending many months wondering if I should shoot for the 200 or not. And part of it came down to, I think there's more people that want to ride the 200 than the 100 overall. And I get the impression that your chances of getting picked for the 100, there's also a 50 and a 25, but I get the impression, and there's also a 350, but I get the impression that your chances of being picked to do the 100 are higher than the 200, and you can only enter for one race. And once I got past the whole idea of whether or not I could do a 200-mile gravel bike ride / race, I decided to try it because that's a challenge. I mean, it's a challenge that I could work towards. The 100 wasn't. It was a challenge, but at the same time, that wasn't. I'd done 100-mile rides on the road many times. I had, even before the race, I did like 2 100-mile training rides on gravel. So the actual 100-mile gravel race wasn't the biggest challenge in the world. I was glad I did it, and I felt accomplished that I did it, but wasn't a big challenge that I had to work for necessarily. I had to work for it, but, So anyway, I decided to enter for the 200. And so the lottery opens on November 1st, I believe it was. And you found out today on the 21st. And I didn't know when the email was going to come out, but I decided that I wanted to wait until I got to camp in order to check my email. And I checked it, and I didn't get picked. So I'm not riding the 200. This coming year is actually the 20th anniversary of the very first, what was originally the Dirty Kansas. Now it's Unbound. So it would have been cool to do it on the 20th anniversary and all that, but I don't know. I entered and I just prayed, well, frankly, for months I've been praying that just the best thing would work out with this. And so I don't know. Maybe the best thing is that I don't ride it this year, or I don't know. I don't know what the future holds with that. Yeah, I got that news. And part of me is disappointed, but I'm also at peace with it for the most part. I just, I'm just have to trust that, this is probably just, at least for next year, it's just for the best that I don't do it, that I didn't get picked. But, yeah, anyway. There's some thought that I kept like bumping up against that I was getting ready to say, but it's escaped me twice now. Had something to do with the 200. But, oh yeah, I kind of have there's people that have done that race multiple times, and finished it. And, I really had a fairly strong feeling, and obviously you never know until like you accomplish something or you arrive at a certain thing in the future how you're going to feel about it. But I really felt that if I got picked to do the 200, I rode the 200 and I finished it, I really had a feeling that I probably would be happy enough with being one and done, and accomplishing that, proving to myself that I could do a 200-mile gravel bike race. And that would probably be good enough to, maybe, well, to quite possibly, race the 100 again in the future. I was happy with the 100. And I believe, I think the preparation for the 100 doesn't have to be quite as intense. I'm just not sure that I would want to go through all the preparation and all that stuff. I mean, it's kind of early in the season. It's at the beginning of, basically it's at the beginning of June, or very, very tail end of May. And I think it's a good thing because usually the weather isn't too hot by then. So I think it's good that it's that time of year here in Kansas. But at the same time, it's kind of early in the year. So you don't have as much time outdoor riding wise to really get in shape as you would if it was maybe later in the year. But anyway, yeah, it's a lot of preparation. But yeah, anyway, I didn't get picked. I'm out here on my little backpacking trip looking at the gray squirrels climbing around and hanging out with the deer. I guess not the armadillos, but smoking my pipe that went out and cigars. Having a little nip or two from the old Wild Turkey backpacking. It's a good way to carry whiskey backpacking. But yeah, I'm going to enjoy my dinner tonight and have a campfire. I didn't have a campfire yesterday because it was raining so much and wasn't going to mess with that. But should be a good night. And thanks for joining me. before too long here, I need to make another video. I get back to making a few more videos. I enjoy doing this. I don't know who really wants to hang out watching them, but thanks for watching them, and you know, just hanging out with a pipe and sharing. So anyway, thanks for joining me. This is Flint Hills Briar signing out. I'll see you next time.